Welcome to Cape Town. Welcome to a South African perspective on the season that's passed. And is it fair to say that it was a season of two halves and certainly contrasting emotions? The first half of the season leading up to the new year, really hopeful, but maybe with a sense of impending doom. And the second, really a dismal catalogue where any hopes of repeating the successes of George Burley's 2000 heroes quickly evaporated. And by the second month of the season, certainly by October, it was evident we were in a struggle for our life at the bottom end of the table. And it became increasingly difficult to see where the points were going to come from, irrespective of the opposition, who was lined up. And the fortress of Portman Road over the past seasons really became, or certainly felt more like a soft underbelly, which was regularly gutted by our opposition, irrespective again of the quality of the opposition, the class, the league position. I've stated in earlier reports here from Cape Town, South Africa, that really the inability to overcome what has proven to be a resurgent AFC Wimbledon, and congratulations to them for getting promoted. But in the League Cup, it was a real wake-up call earlier in the season. If you think back to last season with Maidstone, that was probably a good story all round. It was a bit embarrassing to go out to non-league opposition, but a great story in the bottom, the cup upset, and it allowed Town to really focus on the job in hand, which was to get to that premiership. I just really think that AFC Wimbledon result was not good enough. And if you look at a season where you've seen Newcastle, Crystal Palace, and Spurs winning trophies, these are not clubs that win trophies. It was a disappointment. And if momentum was our friend in the first two seasons fully of Kieran McKenna, then the compounding of poor results, an ever-increasing gap and widening between us and the fourth place bottom team really started to suggest that we were witnessing the inevitable. And that's something that had been predicted by many pundits, that we would see a clean sweep of 6 of the promoted teams ultimately being relegated over successive seasons. And, that's certainly proven this isn't an Ipswich thing. It's also not a good thing, but perhaps entirely predictable given the cash flow and the economics that we're seeing in the Premier League and this football pyramid. I don't think anybody can argue with the quantum of the investment in the players, but how it was spent seems to be where opinion has been split. The facts are that if you look at the wage bill of the players on our roster, we are bottom of that wage league. We are one of only 3 teams that were paying less than £1 million a week. And if you then start to link that to the inability and the inconsistency in team selection around injuries, a steady starting 11, I think this really becomes the biggest issue. If we think about the goalkeeper, well, the less said about the on and off-field antics of our first choice at the beginning of the season, the better. What I did really enjoy was to see Alex Palmer coming in, really a breath of fresh air, much needed in terms of the confidence in what remains a fragile back line. And no doubt Kieran and the coaching staff will need to address this conceding 2 and more goals a game. That was never addressed during the course of the last season. And irrespective of the starting defence combinations, we were leaking more goals than Leicester and Southampton respectively over these last 2 seasons. I would imagine we'll see a major overhaul in the midfield. I'd love to see Cam Humphreys come back into this. I know others have got different opinions on this. Flynn Downs, I'm on record, love to see him come back as a replacement long-term for Sam Morsy and Massimo. And again, great respect to Massimo for his efforts that were well recognised at the weekend. No doubt we'll strengthen in the front line. George Hurst, I hope, will stay. Will we see El Hamadi back? Who knows? It's very clear we're going to need to think about an international basis for our recruitment. If you look at Sarmiento and Enciso, 2 of the most exciting players we've seen over the last couple of seasons within Town, how do we start to recruit our own players of that calibre, that age profile from overseas? And I think, it'll be important to think about that, and I've no doubt that that'll be something that Mark Ashton and the team will have been working on behind the scenes. Benjamin Bloom would be quick to remind us that sometimes when teams rapidly rise, it's followed potentially by a quick fall. I really would think that that's not going to be the case. I don't believe we'll do a Luton. I think we'll be up there in and amongst the best of the best next season. I expect good and strong competition from the likes of Birmingham coming up with the quality of the money that they have, the ownership model, and I've no doubt will be pushed hard by Southampton and a couple of the other players. Sheffield United, it probably could have done with them going up, to be honest. I do hope, and when in my conversations with my Sunderland friends, and that's my hometown, it'd been great to see them go up. But I think there's a feeling of impending doom. And as I'm quick to remind them, it's the only place to be. It's the only place to understand what it's going to take to compete at this level. I do want to believe Ipswich can be at that top table. And the lessons learned, I've no doubt, under this leadership model and the values that have been demonstrated in the club over the last couple of years, that we can continue on and push for back a return quickly to the Premier League and to double down on the lessons. And with a squad that's going to be infinitely greater in value than we had seen going up this year. As I wrap up, I just want to say again, thanks so much to Richard for his providing this platform, the Suffolk Crunch. I've really enjoyed listening to the perspectives from opposition, from other people around the world, around their thinking. I've really appreciated the opportunity to make these videos and send them through. And Richard's always been very gracious in publishing them. So thanks so much for that, Richard. I really do appreciate it. All the best to you and the family over the off-season. I'm sure you're going to enjoy watching some cricket. Do enjoy the Proteas against the Aussies in the coming World Cup Champs final. You know who you need to support there, I've no doubt. And to the entire town community and social media that make life for us when we're so far away from the action here in remote parts of the world. Really appreciate the effort that everyone's doing, whether it's the Suffolk Crunch, the Talking Town, Kings of Anglia, and the Blue Monday team. Greatly appreciated what you do and how you allow us to basically tune in and feel part of it on a Saturday. And it'll be Saturday, Tuesday coming up. So all the best to everybody. Keep safe, look after yourself, and enjoy the speculation about who's coming and who's going within the town environment. Up at the town. Enjoy the boxing for those of you going. Enjoy the Ed Sheeran concerts. Plenty to look forward to. Fortress Portman Road. Let's hope it remains a fortress next year. Cheers to all from Cape Town. Speak to you soon.